Hey guys, Robert and Ingrid here. You're probably guessing we're recording at the same time we are seeing Frozen 2, but we got a few articles or a few bits of new stuff we want to talk about.
I suppose you could call it a nice old 3-for-1 ranting roundup.
Exactly. Now, you were the one that first brought up the stuff of the Polygon article. Care to get us the ball rolling on that?
Yes, well, it was basically an article talking about how Gone Home was the most important game of the decade in their eyes, and it's just like, already I'm just seeing a lot of question marks and red flags being raised in my mind because...
You're raising it in my mind too. I'm like...
Yeah,
what?
It's just like, have you been paying attention to any of the games that have been coming out this decade? Why?
It's Polygon. These are the type of, and it's probably a writer who never, is not in it for the games. They're in it for their agenda, of which Gone Home has. And it was one of the ones that actually was done pretty well, all things considered. A few issues we'll get into, but it also, there's no chances of dying. There's no actual gameplay. Hell, there's really not even puzzles to solve. You just walk around the house. You know what I mean? There might be a few things here and there, but for the most part, you're just like, ooh, hey, lesbians. You know what I mean? I think that's the reason why. It's one of those games that, there's, again, no chances of dying. There's only one path. It's open-ended and yet at the same time very linear. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's why in their eyes it was. Now, we're not saying Gone Home is a bad game. Far from it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and we're not even saying that walking simulators are bad.
Hell no.
It's
Stanley Parable.
Stanley Parable is amazing. And another thing that I heard mentioned that did what people were expecting Gone Home to do better was Layers of Fear, which is a game that I got as part got for free as part of a thing, and I played through it, and I thought it was like genuinely like chilling and gripping.
Oh no, yeah, and I agree with that completely. It was. I mean, those are the people who went on to eventually do the Blair Witch game.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree, but it's like...
it's like the most important game of the decade in what way? Like... Again,
it's because, let's be honest, like I said, the reason I just gave were probably the reason why they did what they considered that way. It's so easy. It's probably the only game they could ever complete, I bet. How much do I bet it was the only game that writer ever completed, start to finish? You want to bet? Because why else would someone say that? I mean, and I'll say that also about the story, the power, and the agenda in it. It's painfully obvious. The player character is a non-entity. The fact she happens to be the older sister is a useless fact, really. Especially the fact you're like, she's in the military. What does that have to do with anything? That never comes into play at all, anywhere. It's all about the younger sister, and her exploring her identity. And you've beaten the game, right?
I've not actually played Gone Home, admittedly.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this. You go throughout the entire game. Throughout this, you do start to open up and find out about the families. And you find out that the parents have had a rough spot. The dad made this book about someone going back in time to prevent the assassination of JFK. And basically, it was a hit, but then he couldn't get another book off the ground, yada, yada, yada. By the time you're done, you get to the last place, you start finding out that the parents are starting to reconcile. In fact, that's why they're not there. They're on another honeymoon. Because they finally, after so much fighting and everything, gotten better. And then you find out that the sister has been falling in love with this one bad girl and everything, who's about to go to military school. And then the girl calls her up and say, like, I changed my mind. I want to be with you. So what does the sister do? Grab every expensive piece of tech. Most of the stuff her dad has, they don't even own. Her dad has it to write technical manuals for. So, in other words, they're going to accuse him of stealing it. She took all the stuff so they can hawk it so that she can go off and be with this girl because, lesbianism. That's both romantic, but when you really think about it, since you're playing as the older sister, you're supposed to feel, at the end of it, you're supposed to feel happy for her. But when you really think about it, you realize she just ruined her family's life. You get what I'm saying? I mean, doesn't it sound that way?
Reading between the lines and thinking through consequences.
But again, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is basically, hey, she's going to go off to be with the woman she loved. But again, you don't think about that stuff, and I think that's what it is. It's because of the fact that you have the agenda being done no matter the cost. At the end, be happy, they're lesbians. I think.
And it's not like you can't have games that address stuff that's really charged like that. And,
oh, yeah.
Like, I was sort of like going over a kind of video script, so I was talking about how games generally tackle these issues best by letting you explore them.
Exactly. Like, that's what a lot of role plays when they do that.
Yeah.
I mean, great, you have some games like Saints Row 4 where they play it up for laughs, where you can romance everyone and doesn't mean this thing. It's just, hey, sex scene. Then there's other cases like Mass Effect where you build up the relationships and you can go either way. You know what I mean?
And then there are cases where, like where in the Soulsborne games, where every NPC you end up falling in love with is going to end up breaking your heart because somebody's going to kill them. They're going to go insane, and you have to kill them, or they'll just disappear with no warning.
No, never a happy ending, huh?
Yeah, I mean it's basically, if you like good pain, then that pain, and I do. That's the sort of thing you like, and it's just like. There are so many games that are sort of revolutionary and so.
Spider-Man for PlayStation 4. Didn't mean to cut you up, but yeah, Spider-Man for PlayStation 4. What's the games you've been playing lately?
Bloodborne? Yes, the entirety of Soulsborne sans Demon's Souls was in this decade.
Exactly.
Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was freaking like legendary. I recently finally got around to properly like beating like the main story because there is just so much I enjoyed mucking around doing, and there's some people that complained about its ending, but I thought it was cinematic and awesome.
We're getting a sequel anyway.
Oh yes, I'm super hyped for the sequel, and that was the first Legend of Zelda game I'd ever completed.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you have all these games that are good contenders, and yet Gone Home is the big one. It's Polygon. What do you expect? I think we were more riled up when we first saw this article than we are now.
Yeah, it was just kind of this is more like the lingering dregs because I have better things to think about.
Such as and both Antia Sarkeesian and Kathleen Kennedy's idiotic statements. Antia Sarkeesian trying to rile up people saying, hey, there's no talking female in here. Okay, there's only one talking female in here. It's like 2 episodes in and you're already bitching.
It's just like, I just saw that come up, and I just felt a bit of my soul leave my body, like.
I know, it's like
it's just like, I thought we were finally done with you. I thought we were finally done with you.
And it's like, now? Why now? Why this? Why didn't you jump on the Charlie's Angel? Oh, it's all because of men that it flopped. Why not jump on that? Tells you because she just saw a trend, she's like, ooh, I better jump on that. It's geeky stuff. Don't listen to me. Most people laughed in her face. But it's just like, and kind of like linking from before, it's just like, I actually, when I was playing Breath of the Wild, I remembered it's like a thread she did. It's just bit of some kind of just like, oh, well, it shows how they clearly still don't give a damn about women. It's just like, what are you talking about? I found one of my new favorite female characters playing this game in the DLC. Exactly. I mean, they've had such great, strong female characters. It's like, again, with that whole thing with Elizabeth Banks with Charlie's Angel, it's like, oh, men, and it bombed because men are sexist because they don't want to watch a movie with strong female characters. Bullshit! Aliens! And then you list Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, and then she says, oh, those are strong females, but those were building up the men in their universe. Oh, but I gotta say the most egregious thing, and everyone's been talking about it, Kathleen Kennedy's, when we were working on these things, there was no source material, no comic books, no 800-page novels. Bitch, you had the expanded universe, you had novels, you had comics, you had audio dramas, you had video games. Everything that was considered canon unless the movies contradicted it. How big are you into Star Wars? Remind me.
I would consider myself a casual fan of Star Wars at best.
But even that statement is probably giving you an aneurysm, right?
Oh boy, let's just say I know one friend who was basically pissed off as soon as they made the extended universe not functionally canon anymore.
Hey, that's not me, but I'm one of those. But at the same time, I at least was happy when they brought Thrawn in. But again, it's like, This tells you right here then and now. She never cared about Star Wars. She never did. All she ever cared about was just simply pushing her agenda, using it as a way to mold it. Well, that explains so much why the original characters were so dismissive and why they were putting such emphasis on the new characters. She wanted to remold it into her vision. I am not looking forward to Rise of Skywalker. Are you?
I mean, honestly, I'm just kind of in a just...
You just want to see how it ends, right?
Yeah, it's just like, yeah. It's just kind of like, I at least want to complete it, but I'm like, I went from being hopeful about it to just like,
You're basically limping to the finish.
Something like that. Like, I thought The Force Awakens was pretty good. I thought it had a lot of promise.
Last Jedi squandered all that promise and then shoved the messages down your throat. And then this, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be more of the same of Last Jedi. But they're going to try and salvage it. But now, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like Kathleen got her way and it's putting more of her cut in the movie, which is bad. We're not going to go... You can check out other people like Doomcock and all that for what those are. But yeah, bunch of crazy news today, and it's just depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you're a Star Wars fan, where you got some great stuff with Mandalorian, and then you gotta be reminded, oh right, the movies are gonna suck. But it looks like Jon Favreau is gonna be put more and more in charge of the movies, which I say, good! Because he's been the one handling Mandalorian. If him and Dave Filoni and even Kevin Feige are able to help do something about this, they will. And it's even funnier when you're noticing that even the mainstream media are now turning on Kathleen.
Oh boy, that's honestly surprising. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why she kept her job, because they were fearing the backlash. Which, yeah, if they'd done it when they did, most certainly. But now it has been like everyone's been finding out more and more. I think because of the fallout of stuff like, the Game of Thrones guys and all that.
Yeah, it's just a case where we're kind of getting exposed to where, these people weren't really in it for the actual love of the thing themselves. They just had ulterior motives. Or
they might have been in it, but they were never good at handling, someone else's material in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, I will give the Game of Thrones guys this. Adapting the work, they did a masterful job at adapting it. As far as coming up with their own stuff in addition to it, suck!
That's when things fall apart a bit.
And it was clear they wanted to get out of it as soon as they could. It's like, you had George R.R. Martin tell them, you guys can stretch this out for 4 more seasons. Nope, 2 more, we can wrap it up into truncated seasons, then we're done.
And no one was happy.
A funny irony I just found out, did you know that more women saw Rambo Last Blood than they saw Charlie's Angels?
You're serious.
I'm serious. What does that tell you? It tells you that women don't want they want a movie that appeals to everyone, not just them. As far as action movies.
It's just like, don't patronize me, damn it.
Exactly. I mean, hey, we saw Rambo. We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For what it was. Was it the best movie of the year? Hell no. Was it entertaining? Hell yes. So yeah, that's all we really had to say. A lot less than we thought we were going to, but we got to start heading inside to the theater soon. So
yeah.
Yep. So hey, we'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya.